Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whenever you are watching this. Welcome to Mentor Mornings, my friends, where I share wisdom from people far wiser than myself or more experienced than myself to help you own your day and fuel your journey. And what I talked about yesterday was, like the new direction of this channel. And are you curious at all to know a little bit of my backstory and why I'm interested in teaching you about this? So, like the whole focus of this channel, as you know, if you've been watching this for any period of time, it's emotional mastery, it's leadership, it's communication. It's this development of self. And what we're going to be talking about now, the direction that we're moving, is like the art of creation. It's bringing ideas, thoughts, ideas and thoughts and creations into the world to create something that's actually here in front of us, inside of the world. Um, so if you're curious to know my backstory, that's the purpose of today. There's this saying that says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so I just want you guys to kind of understand, why, where I'm coming from to teach this, and then, like why I care, why this is a real thing. So, first of all, as we're going to go through this course, as we're going to be moving into developing our ability to start a business, to start a service, to start a product, to bring something of our creation to this world. As we're going through this, one of the main mentors that we're going to be using is going to be Napoleon Hill, and he has lots of books. He's like the godfather of self-development and the art of creation, although he doesn't call it that. Um, let's see. My story. My story. What's going on, Darren? Good to see you on here, brother. I graduated high school in 2004. I wasn't much of a student. I was just kind of going through life. When in 2008, my mother had a small service business. It was a carpet cleaning business here in the valley that I live in. And she started feeling ill. She started struggling with a few things. And so I was asked if I would step in and help. Well, eventually I stepped in and helped, and that turned into, why don't you buy this business? What is that, 2008 to 2014, I was working on developing the business, building the business, and I learned a lot in this experience and working with people one-on-one. The basic business principles. The business was a franchise, so I got to get a lot of help from the support staff and coaches within the industry. And so it was an excellent opportunity for me to step into the world of business. Now, there's always like different layers of reality, isn't there? There's like, there's what you see on the surface, and then there are like these internal workings behind there. And then we all know that working with family, I think for most of us can be a really challenging experience. And so I ran into difficulties working with my mom. I love her to death, but we had some difficulties, and I ended up having to walk away from that business in 2014 when it was right after my son was born. He was like 2 months old, and suddenly I didn't own this business that I'd been working for all this time, and so I was kind of like, what do I do? And so at that point, I had developed a hobby over the last probably a year down in my basement. I was growing cannabis. And I can't say whether that was legally or illegally. I'll leave that to you to figure out. But so at that point in time, like that was a hobby that I could fall back on, and I knew that it was profitable. And it was right at that time when Obama made some changes to not interfere with state law. And so my state, Montana, had medical cannabis. It had a medical cannabis structure. And at that point in time, it was a great structure because it was pretty wide open. It was easy to get into. You didn't require a whole lot of capital. And so I had this 1968 Chevelle. It was beautiful. I had restored it from, when I had got it, it had no motor, transmission, no interior. It was 14 different colors. And when I was done, it was absolutely beautiful. If I had a picture here, I would show you because I'm super proud of that creation. But so I had that car, and I had this idea of a business that I could get into, and so I sold my car that I had been working on since my sophomore year in high school. It was almost totally restored. I sold my car, and I used that money to buy the equipment and the infrastructure that I needed in order to start my new business. And then from the ground up, I started building that business, and it was great. It was wonderful. Like, it was really satisfying. I got to work with a lot of people, great people, people who were suffering and people who were ill. And so I got to help them feel better inside of their lives. It was interesting because, people think that when you're in cannabis, you're just going to deal with a lot of people who like to get high. And really what I found is that probably about 70% of my patients were all over 55 and suffering from different things. So anyway, I'm rambling. I want to keep this short. So anyway, I built that business. I ran into trouble with the state law. I had to shut it down, start it back up, because the state didn't know what they were doing. So I essentially had to shut down that business, eliminate all my patients, kill all of the plants, and then they gave me the opportunity to start back up again. Going through all of this stuff with the state, I felt totally like crushed, because it was extremely difficult to stay within that state law, and also to keep my motivation going that I was going to be able to build a successful business because of all of the hoopla out there. And as it went on, it became increasingly more difficult. And then something happened inside of my head when I experienced a pretty traumatic event inside of my life. I lost all my motivation. And when that happened in here, when I lost that motivation, subconsciously lost that motivation, I inevitably led to the path of my own destruction in that business, and I lost everything. It almost everything. I was able to salvage a little bit. So I did the medical cannabis for myself until 2018, and then I partnered with somebody with what was left of my business. I worked for him, got a small percentage of the company. I worked for that up until early 2020. And so that's kind of like the progression of my business experience. I've been doing YouTube since 2018, I believe, and kind of sharing my journey as I was going through a lot of stuff. That's something that we'll get into. So for those of you who are interested in moving forward, and you have an idea, you have a business, you have a service, you have something that you want to bring into this world, the focus of this next, I don't know how long this is going to take, guys. My guess right now is it'll probably be about the next 6 months. Be focusing on one, the Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. I'm going to bring this into to kind of help give me a framework of how to teach this process. I'm also going to be going through it as I'm developing my new business, which is a product-based business. And I think that for now, I'm not going to focus a whole lot on the process as I go through this, but I'm going to go. As soon as I get to a certain point, I'm going to go back, and then I'll give you guys the backstory of how that goes through and how that develops. All right, so, and something else, if you've made it this far, hang with me just for a minute because I'm almost done. If you've made it this far, for those of you who are interested in building a business, you have a business, you have an idea, you have something you want to bring into this world, and you're serious about it, I am considering, if I have enough interest from you guys, I'm considering starting a mastermind. Meaning, and I don't know exactly what this would look like, but it would mean that we were all in communication with each other for an allotted amount of time. It would mean that we would meet, most likely either bi-weekly or once a month, and we would work on each other's major challenges that we're working through. When we look at Napoleon Hill's success, look, if you're really interested in curing people, look into urine therapy. I have looked into that. And that turns a lot of people off, even though I think that there are some interesting concepts behind it. So where was I going? So yeah, a mastermind in which, if we're looking at developing something, if you're looking at developing a business, we would meet probably bi-weekly. We would help solve each other's problems when we run into it. Having a group of minds to help us work through our problems is extremely powerful, especially if we are all motivated, determined, and we're all going in a similar direction. So if you are interested in working with me and a group of highly motivated individuals, shoot me an email at info@riseunconquered.com, and that's below in the description. Also, if you guys appreciate this video, could you please hit that thumbs up button? And let's see here, what else did I want to talk about? That's it. Last thing I want to share, guys, is that the journey of starting a business, the journey of getting into business, it's challenging, and there are going to be times, have been times in my past when I felt absolutely defeated and I didn't know if I was going to be able to recover. There have been times in my past where I thought I was an absolute failure. and I was down on myself because of it. You know, and I have a whole list of things that we think when we're trying to. In fact, I'm going to pull this up right now just so I can kind of go through this with you guys. You know, reasons why when we're trying to build a business, when we're trying to do something, the reasons why we feel stuck, the reasons why we don't move forward, the reason why we stay where we are even if we are miserable, even if we're miserable where we are. The big Corona. Good morning, my brother. It's good to see you on here. So, you know, like, just, I don't want to read this whole exhaustive list, but these are all emotions. These are all things that I have thought as I was going through this journey. You know, when I lost my carpet cleaning business in 2014, like, I was desperate. I had a new family that was born. I had to make something work. I didn't know where I was going to go, but somehow it worked out. Somehow life provided. And when I lost my medical cannabis business in 2018, like, I was devastated because that was two businesses that I had poured myself into trying to develop and create. I felt absolutely devastated, and I didn't know how to move forward. So like reasons that we don't move forward. I don't know, you know, like, we think I don't know what to pursue. I don't know how to move forward. And by the way, guys, let me know if you agree with any of these, or if you felt any of these, or if you thought any of these. Slap that thumbs up button, drop a comment, say yes. I don't want to commit to an idea that will fail. I don't want to waste any more time. I don't see any opportunity out in front of me. I don't even know what I could do. I don't even know what I should do. I don't have any skills. I don't have any money. I don't have access to any money to build anything. I haven't done anything that's worth pursuing. I feel lost. I feel confused. No one supports me. I don't know where to start. I don't want to risk what I do have right now. I just don't feel like it. I'm too depressed. I'm too angry, or too much. I'm too angry, or I need to learn more. These are all things that I have felt when I go back through and I look at my journal and I look at my thought process and how I developed. You know, I struggled with things, everything except but the skills. Awesome, man. Well, I think if you hang around, sir, hopefully we can get that fired up for you. You know, like, when I go back and I look at my journal, and I started journaling, I think right around 2016. It was as I was losing my cannabis business, as I was going through that thought process where everything started, like, coming apart at the seams. When I go back and look at that, I had every single one of those thoughts, guys. Every single one of those thoughts, and I didn't know how to move forward, and I felt totally lost. And yet somehow life continued on, and opportunities presented themselves, and we keep on going. And so, you know, like, I'm not perfect. I don't know what that means, Christopher. Guten Morgen. Okay, I get it. So, like, I felt all those things, and I didn't know how to move forward. And yet somehow opportunities came, and there are, you know, that's where I was going. I'm not a business guru by any means, but I feel like I have dived deeply enough into the philosophy of business, and studying mentors and teachers and systems that we can put in place where we can guarantee our success. And so what I'm hoping, guys, is that as I'm going through this and I'm teaching you, I'm also teaching myself, and I'm learning from you guys. I'm hoping that when we get to the end of this, like, we all have some success stories that we can share. And so the whole purpose of me doing this is because I want to help you guys get something tangible inside of your life. I believe in you, from Christopher. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that. I really do. So if you guys are interested in that mastermind, like, seriously interested in a mastermind and pursuing something, shoot me an email. If I get enough emails from people wanting to do this, then we're going to put together a group, and we'll all interact one-on-one, probably bi-weekly, online, you know, via Skype or something along that. Yeah, and hit that like button. Thanks, brother. So, yeah, guys. All right, that's it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I will be sure to answer you either in the comments, or I'll answer you in a following video. I still don't have an exact structure of how this is going to go, but I will, and you will be there as we're moving through it. So I'm looking forward to this process with you guys, and I'm going to learn probably as much or more than you. But one thing I know is I love teaching, and I love helping you guys. The big corona, I will not make a move until after this election. I have to see where this country is going first. Yeah, dude, I understand that. I understand that. And that's logical. That is highly logical, and it's probably a good idea. I just got tired of waiting. I'm tired of having excuses. I'm tired of having reasons. I'm tired of things holding me back. I'm tired of living at a subpar level, and so I'm taking the risk, and I'm going for it. And it's just too risky from the big corona. It is risky. It is risky. Life is risky, brother. There are risks everywhere. Every time you step outside that door, a bird hit on your face. Bound to happen. But, but at the same time, I totally understand what you're saying. Like, calculated risk is very important. Knowing when to move and when not to, and where we're at. So I totally understand that. Great ideas, by the way, Nate. And yeah, got to get this country back together. Take care, brother. But I'm crawling out of my skin. I hear you, bro. All right, guys. You guys have an excellent, excellent day, and I will see you tomorrow on Mentor Mornings. Until then, my friends, rise.